How many times do you think I could play this before you get bored? One time through? 16 bars? 32 bars? The whole song? For me, it doesn't take much. But as working musicians, one thing that we encounter time and time again is having to play entire songs that use the same simple chords the whole way throughout. And what can you do to make these interesting? Well, one of the simplest things we can do as guitarists is take our same chords, but play them in different locations on the fretboard. And so today, what I'm going to do is show you how you can play this chord progression in 3 different locations on the neck with the help of the CAGED system. So let's get right into it, and let's get these boring chord progressions with a little more life into them. So our initial chord progression is G major, D major, and C major. And we're of course playing these chords to start off with in the most basic open position. And our first variation is actually going to stay pretty close on the fretboard. We're going to start out using our E CAGED shape to play our G major. We're going to use our C CAGED shape to play D major. And we're going to use our A CAGED shape to play C major. So G major, D major, C major. Now for the G chord, to actually voice this chord, what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap my thumb around to the 3rd fret of the low E string to grab my root note, and then I'm only going to play the D string, G string, and B strings in addition to that. So here's how I'm going to voice the G chord. For the D chord, I'm going to grab my C shape, but I'm actually going to leave out that note on the D string. So I'm really just going to articulate the D string, G string, and B string. And then I'll just play the A shape, like the A shape for our C major chord. So it'll sound like this all together. 1, 2, 3, 4. And to me, this one has much more of a rock, or maybe even country rock character than our open chords, which sound a little bit more campfire-y, or possibly almost kind of like a 90s vibe to it. All right, so just contrast these two real quick. Here's the open chords. Here's our first variation. And now if the CAGED system is something that's new to you or something you just like to brush up on, we have a great free video linked in the description you can check out. It's going to show you all those chord shapes and give you the basics on how the CAGED system works. Now for our second variation, we're going to move up to the 10th fret of the A string, and we're going to play our G major chord using the C shape. We'll use the A shape for our D major. And then for our C major, we're going to use the G shape, but I'm actually going to omit this note with my pinky on the low E string. So we're going to start our chord on the A string. Like that. So we got G major, D major, C major. And it sounds like this. Now, if you paid really close attention there, you'd notice that I used a little hammer-on in my C chord. When you're using this shape like this, with that note on bottom on the A string, it's a really nice trick. If you can have your index finger bar your B string, G string, D string, and A string, it puts you in the position to hammer on to the note you actually want for your chord on the A string. And I like to use an upstroke when I do this. It's very Hendrixy, of course, but it's a really great sound. Now for our last variation, we're going to stay in the same region of the fretboard, but instead of using our C shape to play G major, we're going to use our A shape. And for the C chord and D chord, we're going to use the E shape. But I'm going to use the same grip I used in our first variation, where I use my thumb to grab the low root, and then grab the D string, G string, and B string. So we'll have G major, D major, C major. And it would sound a little something like this. Now you'll notice that this variation has a very similar vibe to the first one I showed you, where we played our G like this, our D like this, and our C like this. So I could almost imagine in our hypothetical song, maybe we play the verse using our lower, more reserved variation, like but then when it's time to go up to the chorus and have more energy, then maybe we go up high. Right? And so then when we change voicings, we change regions in the neck, we bring an element of surprise and change and energy to the listener that we would never have got if we had just used our open chords the whole time. So go ahead and give this concept a try, maybe with the chord progression I showed you, or really with any chord progression. And if you need to brush up on the CAGED system, we do have that free video linked in the description. But if you're ready to move on and see more awesome ways that the CAGED system can help your rhythm guitar playing, watch this video next.